Good morning. Welcome to the special meeting of the City Council to canvass the results of the primary election for 2022, as well as a closed session for the council to consider employment contracts. Items listed on the agenda may be taken out of order. Two or more agenda items for consideration may be combined, and any item on the agenda may be removed or related discussion may be delayed at any time. I will call the meeting to order. Madam City Clerk, could we have a confirmation of the agenda posting and the roll call?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The agenda was posted in accordance with open meeting law, and today we have absent council members Adams and Fox, but we do have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam City Clerk, any public announcements for the meeting?
No written comments were received.
Thank you. We'll have our first public comment period then. Public comment during this period of time is limited to those items on the agenda for action. Each person will have up to 5 minutes to speak. And as always, we ask that people be civil and concise. I see that Mayor-elect Hardy is at the podium. Please state your name and proceed.
Joe Hardy, for the record. I'm here for special agenda number 1. I am grateful. I am grateful for the current and past dedicated and elected public officials. I'm grateful for friends and former patients, family members. I'm grateful for the prior preparation that I've had as a family physician, as a city council person, as a state assemblyman and state senator. I'm grateful for good joints. I can still walk. I'm looking forward to learning more and serving together with everyone. We have a unique and wonderful city with really good people who care. As we serve and care together, we can continue to accomplish great things. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council people.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Please state your name.
Steve Walton, and I'm glad to be here for special agenda item number 1. I also am thankful for the support and trust of the members of the community for the opportunity in the future to serve. I'm especially grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy to vote and to hold open and democratic elections. And this is a great example of that process. And I'm grateful for the nearly half of the voters in the community that participated. And we do have a good participation in comparison to other areas in the valley, and that reflects the care and the interest of our citizens. And of course, we'd all like to see greater participation so we can hear from everybody at the ballot. But I am grateful for this process that we uniquely have here in our country, in our state, and in our community. And thank you for your service to this point, and I look forward to a great next few months as you continue to serve and as I prepare for the opportunity to sit in those seats there. So thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Comments may have been submitted prior to the meeting via email as stated in the agenda. We will also take phone calls. Anyone wishing to call in for the initial public comment period, the phone number is 702-589-9629. This is the initial public comment period for the special council meeting. Anyone wishing to call, the phone number is 702-589-9629. Madam City Clerk, just to confirm, there were no written comments submitted?
No comments were submitted.
Thank you. All right, hearing no others, we will close the initial public comment period, move to our first item for possible action, canvass of returns and certification of the abstract for the June 14, 2022 municipal primary election. The results of the June 14, 2022 primary election were canvassed, comparing the computer printout of ballots counted and the results thereof with the official ballot statements for the 6 precincts used in the election. There was one discrepancy of the 5,159 ballots cast in the 6 precincts, with the foregoing discrepancy would not alter the outcome of any race in the primary election. 19 provisional ballots were cast during the election, 17 were verified and counted, and 2 were rejected because the voters were not registered to vote. Audits were performed according to Nevada Revised Statute 293B on the hash code of the ICX voting machines in the election, and no discrepancies were identified. The item before us this morning is to review the information from the election department regarding the municipal primary election. The motion requirements are to canvass the the returns, and potentially approve the abstract for the June 14, 2022 municipal primary election, and direct the city clerk to transmit the results to the Nevada Secretary of State. The effort to do this has been very simple in the past, very straightforward. It's a confirmation of the will of the citizens who cast their ballots. There are honest and dedicated public servants who we rely on, as well as honest citizens who give their time and efforts to work as poll workers, to verify the identity of voters, and confirm our elections are honest and true. There is no evidence of any fraud or non-citizens that are voting that affect the results of the election, or any election up to this point. As noted, there were 3 ballots out of more than 5,000 that were cast that were questioned, and those were not counted. There is no evidence of any intentional fraud being attempted. We do hear that frequently, unfortunately. I know myself, last year's election, former Mayor Roger Tobler had written an editorial where he stated that I was going to manipulate the results of the election. I don't know how that would occur. Our elections are done through the county election department, not with city employees or city staff or myself being involved in those. I do find it very unfortunate when people make those types of allegations and cast aspersions on our election process. We have fair elections here in Clark County, in Boulder City. I think that it's very unfortunate when we have those types of things that get printed in newspapers. I know my response to that was actually censored and not included in the newspaper. That, again, begins to drag down the integrity of our elections, and that should not happen. As I noted, this is supposed to be a very straightforward process. Our election department, I think, does a fine job. They get the results in quickly and accurately. I do not find a place for people in government who make those kinds of allegations with no proof. However, former Mayor Roger Tobler has been appointed as a committee member for our audit committee. Again, I think when we have people who make these types of allegations, they should not be participating in government without being able to provide some proof of what they're talking about. We are at a point now in this country where these election results are constantly being called into question with no proof. I've read the results of this election. The voters made their will known. Joe Hardy has won the election, will be the next mayor of Boulder City. I congratulate him on doing so. It was by a wide margin. I do not question the results of this. And with that, I would ask, are there any other questions or comments from other council members? All right. I will then make a motion to move to canvass the returns and approve the abstract of the June 14, 2022 municipal primary election and direct the city clerk to transmit the results to the Secretary of State.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries unanimously.
Mayor, before you move on, can I provide an overview of my staff report just for the sake of the public?
Certainly.
AB 321, starting in 2022, Nevada became an all-mail ballot election. In-person voting options were available to all active voters who registered to vote no later than 14 days before Election Day, unless they opted out. That opt-out was available, and in addition to opting out of mail ballot, if you received a mail ballot, you still had an opportunity to drop your mail ballots off at the city clerk's office and other locations, or you could still go and early vote or vote on Election Day by surrendering your ballot. The deadline for mail ballots this year, with postmark by 7 p.m. on Election Day, was June 18th, and the deadline to cure signatures was June 20th. And the canvass had to take place within 10 days of the election, and today is the 10th day. I just wanted to note, just for the sake of the public, our city charter section 96.8 states, if in the primary municipal election, a candidate receives votes equal to a majority of voters casting ballots in that election, he or she shall be considered elected to one of the vacancies, and his or her name shall be placed on the ballot for the general, not be placed on the ballot for the general municipal election. And so in this case, there were 5,159 ballots cast. Mayoral candidate Joe Hardy received 3,272 votes. He was declared elected in the primary. And Steve Walton received 2,874 votes and was declared elected as council member. Our city code, section 16.5E, also states that the names of the two candidates receiving the highest number of votes will be placed on the ballot for the general city election. Those two members are candidates James Howard Adams, who received 1,526 votes, and Koki Booth, who received 2,293 votes. Our mayor and council members elected will be sworn into office at the November 22nd, 2022 regular city council meeting.
Thank you. And to confirm then, after the canvass has been completed, declare the governing body of the city of Boulder City. Results of the canvass are: Joe Hardy was elected as mayor, and Steve Walton was elected as city council member in the primary election. And as Madam City Clerk stated, the names of James Howard Adams and Koki Booth will appear on the ballot of the November 8, 2022 general municipal election. Any other items, Madam City Clerk, with regard to this?
Nothing more.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to item number 2, which is a closed session to review and discuss the employment contracts. With this, we will adjourn the special meeting at this time for that special session. And once completed with the special session, we will go back into the session here. Thank you.
Mayor, we need a motion for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a motion then to adjourn to our closed session?
I move to adjourn to our closed session. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we are adjourned for the closed session. Thank you.